My friend Anita, who is not really on YouTube these days, but fortunately she kept her channel up. It's called Chit Chat Paddywhack. She's on Instagram now. But she used to always start her videos by saying, good morning, good, whatever day of the week it is, morning. And I have found, I feel moved to open my videos that way. So I hope she doesn't mind. I'm going to steal her opener and say, good morning, good Friday morning. It is Vlogmas day 6. And I had a very productive day yesterday. I did all of the things on my list. I am all packed for my trip except for my clothes. I got all my supplements sorted out. I packed some stuff to have, some protein shakes if I don't have access to a breakfast at the hotel. I don't quite know. I've not stayed at this hotel before, the first one, so I'm not really sure. I have some pro tips about traveling, especially if you're traveling for work. And you may not be able to do this, but I'll just share with you what I do, because I could do, when I first got this job, and I traveled to Sacramento a lot, and other parts of the state, but mainly more than any other place I go to Sacramento. And I could stay downtown at, not the most luxury hotel, but a nice hotel. And I could take, a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft everywhere. And I could eat every meal in a restaurant. I don't like doing that though. I just don't like eating in a restaurant for every single meal. I like it every now and again. Maybe once in the trip, right? But more than that, I just don't like to. It's too much, because I'm often there and I'm doing a lot of stuff with a lot of peopling, right? And so I just want to be by myself and have quiet and maybe read, watch some YouTube. So yeah. So what I figured out a long time ago was, if I stay outside of town, so I usually stay like in Natomas, one of the outer, neighborhoods outside of town. The hotels, there's plenty of hotels still, and they are like half as much sometimes. They're definitely cheaper. They're way cheaper. And I can get a suite with a kitchen, a full kitchen, for less than I'm paying for just a room that maybe has a mini fridge in town. So I book the cheaper room, I rent a car, and then I could drive in and out of town. It's not far. And because I'm staying in a place with a kitchen, and because I have a car, I can get groceries. So I can have much healthier choices. I could get exactly what I want. And yeah, and also, this is the other trick, is because now I have groceries, then when people are like, oh, we're just going to go grab lunch over here, we're just going to go grab a burger over there, I'm like, oh no, that's all right. I've already got stuff back at the hotel. See? So it helps me that way too. And all of that together is so much cheaper than if I had stayed in town and been reliant on, taxis and restaurants to exist. So I'll share with you, I'll show you what I bring in my suitcase. I bring kind of a lot. I am not I don't ever check a bag. I never, ever, it's maybe once a year I check a bag if I absolutely have to. If I'm bringing something for somebody else, basically, I might check a bag. But otherwise I bring everything with me, carry on, and I am not a minimalist traveler. You'll see. I bring a lot of like cookware. I bring a lot. You will see. Anyway, so yeah, you don't have to stay as close to where you want to be as possible. You might have a better experience, and you get to see more of the area. That's the other part that I like. The first maybe half a year that I had this job, I didn't realize I could stay farther out, and I've really enjoyed exploring the rest of the area, that not just the downtown. So that's been really fun. And, but this first place I'm going in, San Francisco, I've never stayed at this hotel before, and I don't know what I'm going to encounter. So, I have, and I don't know that I want to stop and get groceries right away. So I might need to make sure that I have everything I need for like at least the first night on me. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so that's just a little travel tip. So there's lots of ways that you can make it healthier and less expensive and more fun. You know, like I say, getting to meet people outside of the tiny little place that you're visiting or need to be in. I also wanted to share a little bit about, and this is to do with my book recommendation, how I streamline gift giving. And this is something I learned from my parents. My sister and I have 18 first cousins. 18. I'm kind of in the middle, so there's a bunch that are older and a bunch that are younger. There's kind of nobody quite around my age. There's only a couple. And so my parents, that's a lot of gifts. Plus the adults, plus their siblings. My mom is one of 6. My dad's the youngest of 4. So Christmas was, a big operation. And what they did was they would, early in the year, they would decide all the kids are getting the same gift. And they would usually make it, or all of the adults are getting the same gift. I remember one year for the adults, they, I don't know what you call it. I guess it's cross stitch, but instead of using fabric, you're using like a plastic. It's like a thin plastic grid, and you're cross stitching on that, and you can make stuff out of it. So one year they made tissue box holders for all of the adults, but my dad, he made like a design and a color scheme for each one that went with that person's house, because each person had a different style, right? So he figured that out, and then my mom did all of the stitching and putting them together. So that was one year. This might be my earliest memory. I must have been like 2. And that year, and I remember this is a long time ago. I mean, this is like 50 years ago, almost. And we didn't have as many cousins yet, because I'm still an only child at that point. Dad had a lot of scrap wood he'd come into on one of his jobs. And so Dad made for all the boys, he made them these little wooden cars. They were so cute. And for all the girls, he made a little dollhouse. And then my mom sewed curtains for the dollhouse, and made little carpets and bedding, or I don't remember what all. Sewed stuff for these dollhouses. And so one of my earliest memories is my dad sanding these toys so they'd be nice and smooth for the kids, right? And I remember the smell of the sawdust. So Dad made cars for all the boys. My aunt had 2 boys who are a year older than I am, and they're twins, and they were very rambunctious. And so for them, my dad didn't make a little car. He made this big, it was like a semi truck, and it was big enough for one of them to sit on, then the other push it, right? And it opened, like the cab opened up and the back doors opened up, and you could put stuff inside of it. And it had like bumpers. It was really cool. And so when I was pregnant with my son, again, this is 35 years later, at least, she showed up with that truck at my baby shower. And I can't tell you what it means for me to have that thing. It makes me so happy, especially at Christmas time. So it's very big. I'll show you a picture of it. It's under the piano next to the tree. And so I have it there. I have it there every Christmas, and it just, you know, it makes me feel so happy. It brings back such happy memories. So making things for people is very special, as you can see. You never know, like, how long those things are going to last, how long people are going to hold on to them and pass them along. I'm sure my father was 100% certain that those twins would destroy that truck. And I don't know how they didn't, because they were very rambunctious. Hilarious. And then that my aunt would save it for so long through many moves. I mean, she'd moved house a number of times at that point. So yeah, I'm just so happy to have that. Making things is very, very special. But not everybody can do that. I get that. Maybe you don't have the skills. I don't always, you know, I have limited, I'm crafty, but in a very limited capacity. So the way that I kind of have brought that into my gift giving is, and I love books, as you know. So every year, you know, I'm the person who gives books. I just am. So everybody gets a book. But if I had to go shopping for every single person, I would, I mean, that would be all I do is go, I mean, I would love to do that, but I simply can't. So what I do is starting from the beginning of the year is I keep my radar up. I'm looking around for one book that everybody's going to get. And you might be wondering, like, how can you possibly know that everybody's going to like this book? Let me tell you, you know what kind of books everybody likes? And I mean everybody? Cookbooks. And I don't mean like you're very, like the utilitarian joy of cooking, Martha Stewart. Like I still have my Martha Stewart 1990s cookbook, and I still use it all the time, but it's 100% practical, you know. And some people like that, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people are never going to crack that book. I mean, that's just the case. But so many cookbooks have beautiful photographs, have really interesting stories attached to each recipe. And I guarantee you can find a cookbook like that. Now, I'm not going to tell you which cookbook I'm giving this year, because I don't want to spoil it, just in case somebody on my gift list happens to see this. I don't know why they would, but in case they do, I don't want to spoil that. So I pick one cookbook, and then I'll buy like a dozen of them, you know. And if I can get it at Costco or something, great. But, you know, usually I can go to my local independent bookseller and say, hey, they'll do this for you. Hey, can you order me 8 copies of such and such? They will be delighted to do so, and you will help support their local business. So the book that I gave last year, that's the book I'm going to recommend right now. The book that I gave to everybody last year, and this is a fantastic book, and I can't tell you what a good, everybody that got it was like, oh, this is great. Oh, I can't wait to read this. I gave the cookbook by another YouTuber I called, if you don't know him, I think his name is Max Miller, and the book is called Tasting History. And his channel is amazing. I love his channel. I watch every single one of his videos. I have been since he was a very, just starting out. He's also a very good writer. And his book is so interesting because it's recipes throughout history. You're probably not going to make, Roman garum fish sauce and ferment it for weeks on end in your backyard in a clay urn. Pretty sure. Just going to guess. But it's fascinating to read about. So many recipes in here are just nobody's ever going to make. But the history is so interesting. And to read about how they put this together and what they had to do with the technology of the time. Anyway, it's just really, really fascinating. And that was a great book. And I'm trying to remember the book I gave the year before. It was a baking book. Oh, I cannot remember. But it was another one that had great stories and great pictures. And there are so many cookbooks that no one's going to make a single recipe out of that book, but it just makes a great read. Ruth Reichel's books. I love her books. So let's say you have a limited budget. Maybe you can't afford to buy. I've been in this situation. I can't afford to buy that many copies of a new cookbook. You know where you can get beautiful cookbooks for like $1, your local thrift store. Or we have a place here in San Diego called Book Off, which is a used bookstore. And they sell gorgeous books for, I mean, pennies on the dollar. And you could just go and buy a variety of great, perfect condition, beautiful photographs. And I bet you could find something that is suited to the person that you're looking for. You don't have to spend a lot, but it does help kind of your holiday stress. The point of all of this is that it helps your holiday stress to kind of just automate it. Just, you know, don't worry about, I need to get something for this person, that person, da, 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 da. Pick what am I giving this year? Pick one thing that you're giving this year. And that's your gift this year. And everybody gets that. So that's what I do. And I've done it for several years now. And let me tell you, it has been a real load off to not have to be concerned about this person or that person. And that's usually what I do. Yeah. Find ways to automate your holiday season. You know, it's memories for everybody, right? That's the point. I want to share with you though, my moment of joy. I've been so busy. I went to the gym, this has to do with my moment of joy. I've been trying to support immigrant businesses in my community. And I went to go buy some fruit at my local Korean supermarket. Now, I did not shoot in the supermarket because there were so many people there. And I don't know, I don't know if they would be comfortable with that. And yeah, I don't know if the store has rules. And, but I love this store. If you're in San Diego, it's a chain. It's called Zion Market. I think it's Korean. And if I didn't say that already, this particular one though also has like a food court. So if you go at lunchtime, none of the things were open right now. If you go at lunchtime, like there's a poke place, there's all kinds of really great little food vendors in the food court. I've never had something I didn't like in there. It was really good. And then it also has other businesses. Like there's a clothing store, there's a Paris Baguette, one of my favorite bakeries chains. And there's a place that sells like appliances. There's one that sells electronics. There's other like business offices that are just offices back there. Went to use the restroom. When I arrived, I went to the ladies' room to clean up because I was kind of, forget what I was doing. I was at the gym. So I went to kind of go clean up myself after the gym. And as I was walking to the ladies' room, there was, I couldn't quite tell where it was coming from because there's like a bookkeeper's office and a hair salon. There's a corridor that goes back to where the restrooms are. And none of those businesses were open, but there were people inside, you know, setting up for the day. And somebody in one of those businesses, I don't know which one, because I couldn't place it in the corridor, but somebody who was just setting up business for the day was singing. And it was so beautiful. At first I thought it was coming over. I thought, oh, that's pretty music, because they always play a lot of music in that store, which is another reason I like to go. So at first I thought it was coming from the speakers. And then I realized, no, that's somebody who's standing around me here somewhere. And so I hope that microphone picked it up. It was so pretty. It was amazing. It was really impressive. And like I say, it's just stopped me in my tracks. And I listened as long as I could without calling attention to myself. And I don't think anybody noticed that I was shooting video. But you'll see there's nobody but me in the video because I'm in the hallway. So anyway, there's still a lot of stuff to bring us joy every single day. And I hope that you find something and share it with me. And anyway, I've got to finish packing my clothes today, and tomorrow I'm heading up north. So have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.